one thing Sam Trickett was, when we were in here talking about those cash games in the East, in order to be accepted and invited in those games, you have to be willing to play. They say, you know, if you play just 24 hours in one of those cash games, they call you a hit-and-run merchant. So you have to be willing to play for 2-3 days. I mean,
I could never make it. That's exactly what he was telling me on the way home. He has to play 30, 35 hours. Or he doesn't get invited back.
Right. You know, or you just, I guess...
By the way, Jesse, if Salmon had a spade that other hand, the match would be over.
Right.
So he did it, put himself in position to win at 1 point.
6-7 checks.
That's true.
One bets 50,000.
So you were saying because of that you think he has good stamina. It's an excellent point.
Well, I think it has to do when you do that. Your B game has to be very good. Obviously, everybody knows about the A game, but you have to have an incredible B game. The game when you're tired. Oh my gosh, this is the cooler.
Yeah, but for how much?
Sam was trapping on the turn, so now he's going to leave this river. And, I mean, very deceptive the way Shak has played this. I think
now, it would be nice for Dan if he actually studies for 20 seconds before he acts. Sometimes he just grabs those chips so quickly, the green stack.
He's going all in. That's gotten serious.
It's going to take him about 10 seconds to fold, Sam.
Wow.
Even if he thinks he's ahead a huge percentage of the time, he might not even want to risk it.
Jesus. All in.
Wow, it was a nice bet, Sam. And you know, if Dan raises 200,000, he has a massive chip lead in this, but he gave you a chance to get out of the hand.
Impressive bet.
I think he might do it.
All right. Well, Shak's swinging for the fences. I mean,
wow.
He is really swinging for the fences.
Why all in, Dan? You gave him you showed him the door here, buddy.
That really rocked Sam. But he is the kind of player that is. He'd rather get bluffed here than have to risk the tournament on it, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what does he think Dan moved in here with?
Right.
I'm not quite sure.
It would be a crazy bluff. Is there... I think he must know a little bit more about Dan Shak than maybe we do. He thinks there is a possibility Dan is bluffing here?
Well, this is the second time in like 8 hands where Dan moved all the chips in.
That's true.
And so he almost called him with ace high. Now he has 2 pair and an unpaired board. So now it must be even more tempting. But
right, and it is risking the tournament. But if he calls and wins, it's over.
Yes.
It's over.
Oh, gee.
Wow. Well, here's the other thing. Okay, this is why it's difficult because now he's working out in his mind that he could easily have 8s and 7s or 7s and deuces. So there are 2 2-pair hands he can beat at this point.
He's sick.
Right.
That's true.
Would he have shoved with 8s and 7s or 7s and deuces, or would Dan have just called or raised 200 or something? I think he would have.
I have no idea what you have.
I have no idea.
Oh, such a big bet. Okay. Sorry, this is going to take a while. A bet like this small.
Yeah, and if he folds,
so small.
Yeah, that enters thinking too. Had he bet 200,000, Shak moves in.
Bet 40 into 180.
Yeah, if he bets like 150 and Shak raises, now he knows he has a flush.
How did the betting go on the flop? Did Shak?
Shak bet, yeah.
That's where the money came from. Check on the turn. I mean, the 7 did make a straight as well. But because Sam says, I know you don't have the nut flush, he's thinking it can't be the nuts. So if it's not the nuts, why would he move in? Yes, Shak's mind, it is the nuts. And is Sam Trickett the kind of guy that's not going to make a decision till he finds a possible hand? Wow, he could lose a tournament here, couldn't he?
Yeah. Not likely. Well, if he really thinks he has to call, then. If you make a call like that on a bad read, you just say, "Well, I just had a bad read." You know, I mean that happens.
Oh my! All the hands Dan Shak has played in this. He's so confused, and maybe.
Play with you more.
Exactly right.
Sorry.
Exactly right.
Sorry.
He knows that Dan's a high-stakes
Boring
player.
the screen to death.
Very interesting.
It's never going to make sense. And it was that Queen Jack of Spades as well that's got him thinking.
That's exactly
that
what I'm
Dan
saying.
Shak has come up with a strategy that he's just going to go completely.
And he moved all in that time too. And Sam studied him forever with ace high, and now he actually has 2 pairs. So he's in danger of making the call here.
Oh my gosh! And now everybody knows it.
Torturing you here. Maybe.
No, take your time, says Dan. Take your time, Sam. If you say those words, it's my Premier League. And he's done it in such a beautiful way.
This is my problem.
It makes no sense.
Do I cover him, by the way? If I call, do I win?
Yes.
Just over a minute.
You think he's calling now, Phil?
Quite close.
He may call. I mean, I think that again, it's just funny, this.
This Dan Shak's a winner, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, look what he's done to Sam Trickett. Like, who confuses Sam Trickett?
He's got to twist it up in knots.
Who confuses this guy? And not only that, but Trickett's played him like a fiddle for about an hour here.
Exactly. Here's why Trickett should fold. That's another reason why he needs to fold here. It's been a boxing match, and Trickett's been giving left jab, and Dan doesn't know how to stop the left jab. So why, when Dan throws a haymaker right, would you let it connect?
Right.
You left jab, and you make sure he doesn't land the haymaker. That's what you make sure of, because you're going to jab him to death.
12-24.
Oh wow.
I think it was 15-30, but I'm not
He's got
sure.
him dizzy.
And how many hands do we go up in?
Oh my gosh, everything is going to argue towards a call when he hears it. 5 hands, the blinds go to 20-40, Sam. He looks so uncomfortable now.
He really looks.
He looks so uncomfortable.
I should just fold.
This feels like Steve McQueen in the Cincinnati Kid.
Small ball.
Yeah.
He just said it out loud.
Yeah.
He should fold the small ball.
And all Dan's going to do, just like Lancey Howard, is turn over the Jack of Diamonds. Say, I got you, kid.
You look like you've got it. Well, it's just 10 times the pot.
Wow. Never seen anything like it.
Sorry. This is the longest I've ever took on any decision in my life.
I believe that.
I believe that. This is the longest. It must be 9 minutes or something, right?
I mean, it has to be.
I don't know. We'd
What
have
do I
to. Do we have a timer?
Well, that's the idea. What do you think he has? And he can't put him on any one hand. He's ruled out hearts.
Dan has to be real careful not to make too many movements. He already said. The more he talks, the more he gives Sam a chance to figure it out and make the laydown. The more he moves, he gives Sam a chance to make the laydown. So.
Tell you what, Sam's going to be a sick puppy if he calls this. And Dan Shak is going to be holding that title aloft. He's going to kiss that trophy. How is he going to make this decision? He's called! It's over!
Fucking useless cunt. Well, you gotta go with your read.
Well, that's exactly
Dan.
right.
Thank you.
That's exactly right. You got to go
You
with
gotta
your
go with
read.
your read.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
I'm not going to criticize it. I
Look
think
at that.
Wow, your
Shaq.
neck was pulsing like mad.
Look at Dan Shaq. Look at it all.
Yeah, never
He's
mind.
sweating all over the place. Oh my God.
it's so
That
funny.
took a lot out of him.
I didn't know what to do.
So
What a-
funny. You got to go with your read, but there were a lot of reasons to fold. Like he was just jabbing him and jabbing him and jabbing
never
him and
mind.
jabbing him. But it's hard to
I was
criticize a man for going
agonizing,
with his read.
I just thought you'd bet hearts on the turn. I had a heart in my hand. I had the 10 of hearts in my hand. Yeah.
Wow, what a great Premier
I just
League.
thought I bet 40,000.
What a fitting hand for this Premier League. And Sam Trickett, I'm willing to go
Yeah,
with
gotta
his
go with your
read
read
there
and
for
then
the whole
stop the
thing.
Oh, you think you have,
He just,
I think you definitely have
he
to
just,
cover
he
it.
couldn't give it up if it was there for the taking. And how about Shaq? Like rope-a-dope. I mean, he looked like he was getting
You see
beaten
it?
and battered, and he came up with just a bizarre strategy, Phil.
that neck pulse was going again, and I was like, "Fuck, what does that mean?"
It's just that, you know, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I should
a guy makes a bad read, you can't criticize it. But when Dan raises $1 million, a 40K bet, there's only 260,000 in the pot, and when he makes $1 million raise, he has to have it. He's risking his whole. He's risking 5 days worth of play, his whole Premier League, and Sam has to factor that in.
Yeah, but never mind.
Like if Dan raises like
I know what
250,000.
to beat him if I
He
just
has
play
to
small.
call, I think, but
Killing.
because he just has a read. But
It's a mistake, but I just couldn't pull the trigger. Can't play perfect.
That's the whole thing. He knows. And yet,
he still has 100,000 left, right?
about.
I don't know.
Amazing.
See, these are the spots where
amazing.
this is a stat where he feels really bad, right? Sam feels really bad. He's like, oh my God, I blew the Premier League, blah 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 blah. But he went with his read, you know, and I respect that. So
I mean, as a poker player, it's just huge.
when you're a great poker player, you got to go with your reads.
Yeah,
That's why
that's
he's
cool.
won. That's why he's won $15 million lately,
Yeah.
because he has good reads. you
Nice
know?
shove, Dan.
You can't be scared. I
Such
mean,
a
that's
bad ball.
unbelievable. He put it all
Looking
on the
back.
line there.
That's why your neck was pulsing like mad.
What?
Your neck was pumping out your skin. I didn't know what it meant.
I was trying to look nervous. I was trying to, I don't know what I was doing.
He is now but a few big blinds away from the Premier League Poker 6 title.
I've got just
I
about
don't know how
every
he
decision
did
wrong in
it. This guy's just a
Premier League.
winner, isn't he?
Well, my
He
call
really
for
is. Dan is a
240
winner.
before with
And,
whatever I had,
you know.
which wasn't much.
Yeah, I should call.
Exactly.
It's a bad call.
Was not so good either.
Stunned here.
all
Absolutely
in.
stunned here. Aspers,
Oh, God.
Westfield,
Such a
Stratford
I looked
City
at one
Casino.
That sounds like an ace. I got 9-10.
Dan Shaq has a chance to win the Premier League title.
I mean, and
let's
he
see how he
has-
celebrates if he does win. If his
Yeah.
2-1 holds up, let's see how
Told
he
you I've
celebrates.
made worse hero calls.
He has not just
I
won, he
tried a
has
couple
won
earlier
this in
also, good luck.
style.
I didn't need to do that.
I mean, you talk about a guy being down for the count and reaching up through the mist
In space.
and
Straight
connecting
up,
with a
straight up.
knockout blow. That is what Dan Shaq has done.
And you called it, Jesse. You
He
called
had
it.
the aura, didn't he?
You
Phil?
called
Wow,
it.
I mean, it's
Turn his yellow.
You
all-
really
this
did
is-
call
this
it.
is all Dan
You said this
Shaq's
is what's going to
moment.
Good
happen.
game, buddy.
Dan
This is all
Shaq's going to
Dan
win.
Shaq's moment.
Nice shove.
Oh, thanks.
And,
Good game.
Okay.
You deserve to win.
Congratulations, Dan Shaq. Class guy. And
Thank you.
Sam Trickett is a class guy,
He really
man.
is.
He said nice
Thank you.
shove. He
My
said
fault.
complimented Dan. He's
He
handled
is.
himself with
Thank you very
complete
much.
class.
Well,
And this
everybody
kid is a
has,
contender.
Phil.
He's one of the best.
he is.
Telling
That was
you,
the longest
he's
sit in the
he's one of the he's a contender. I have like 5 people on the planet I consider contenders, and he's one of them. There's a lot of guys that will hit contender status soon, but I'm just talking about
Yeah,
guys
I
that
gave
are
her a hug
contenders now.
yesterday. And
Absolutely amazing. You know, in some ways you
Yeah, I
respect
know.
the man more for being able to make that call.
That's right,
uh,
actually.
and put the whole tournament on the line than anything else. I mean,
Yep.
gosh, that was courage. And for Dan Shaq, I mean,
What
Where
a
did he
Premier
find
League,
that? 10
Jesse!
times
What
pot.
a Premier League!
He just did it.
Unbelievable!
Amazing.
This was some great
Crazy.
drama
That
with
was-
some great players, and who knew that someone from Group A was going to merge? They got down to 3 players, 3 top players from B, and one from Group A, and
just
Group
couldn't
A
figure it out.
just beat them all. He took down Duhamel, the world champion. He took down Antonio and Trickett, 2 of the guys that have had, in the last 2 years, some of the best results of anybody in the world, and he just took them all down. Bang, bang, bang. He glided to victory. There were a few hiccups, but nothing major. He glided.
Well, it's like, listen, we're going to be back. Thanks, everyone. We're going to be back with the presentation of the trophy in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere because the emotions are running high, and we have a champion.
It's been a fantastic season for the Premier League, our greatest lineup yet, and we have a new champion, Dan Shak. Congratulations. We spoke earlier as well about all the work you put into your heads-up game. Did that play in at all here?
I really haven't, but the first 2 heats, I got a lot of work in my heads-up game. I really, don't consider myself a heads-up specialist, and against Sam, I honestly was hoping for some, races, even, and they didn't come. And I got a little frustrated. He was getting a lot of big hands, but I didn't lose my cool and I didn't get impatient, and thought I made a couple bad calls, but all in all, I thought I played really well at the final table.
And when I say that there's a great lineup here, a lot of that as well is down to Sam, who is clearly a player that everyone loves to watch. Now, Sam, talk to us about your reflections on your own game here this whole week.
Honestly, I'm not just saying it. This is probably, I feel like I've never made so many mistakes in a week of poker in my life. I've run really good, and I just keep getting the big decisions wrong, but, me blowing up like this, that's why I get in all the best games in the world, so I'm always capable of a big blow up, so that's why I get to play in the games in the world, because sometimes I just lose my mind.
Well, it looks pretty good from where most people are sitting, and it was a tough lineup. You now have a title for the Premier League against a sincerely difficult lineup of players, world class. How does that feel for you?
Oh, it feels amazing. You know what, I always say I really don't play for the money. I play because I want to honestly learn from better players like Sam. Like, even in the middle of playing heads up, I can learn from him. Like, he was limping, so I started limping. I mean, I regard all these players in such the highest regard, and I just want to learn to play like them. And I've been able to do that by being fortunate enough to play in events like this. And I want to thank PartyPoker for inviting me, and Ivy for believing in me, and Sam and everyone else, in the whole tournament that taught me how to play better. And I just want to keep doing that, and maybe at some point I really will feel like I belong in their league. I don't feel that way yet, but I'm feeling closer, so I feel really pleased about it.
Well, hopefully we can push that a little bit farther forward. I'd like to invite John Scanlon on to present you with your trophy to show exactly what league you are in.
It's all right, now you play great. It's like you're probably the only guy that would have stacked me on that last time. This is the only guy who would have shoved 10 times before. No, well played. Good at it. I don't know.
Sam's a great player, too.
It's been a fantastic season here for the Premier League. Join us for season 7. I'm sure it's going to be just as special.